I've always been a skeptic. Ghosts, spirits, the paranormal, none of it ever made sense to me. That was until I moved into the old house on Ridley Road. My name is Ethan, and I'm about to tell you the story that changed my life forever. It started with a deal too good to pass up. The rent was cheap, the house spacious, and the landlord seemed eager to have me move in. I didn't ask too many questions. I just signed the lease. The house was old, with creaky floors and peeling wallpaper, but I figured it added character. The first night, I noticed something odd. The house was unnaturally dark. Even with every light on, shadows seemed to linger, clinging to corners and creeping along the walls. It felt wrong, like the house was swallowing the light. But I brushed it off as my imagination and went to bed. That's when the footsteps started. At first, they were faint, like someone pacing on the floor above me. I lived alone, so naturally, I grabbed a flashlight and went to investigate. The second floor was empty, just as I had left it. Still, the sound persisted, echoing around me. I spent most of that night wide awake, listening to those relentless steps. By the third night, the house began to feel hostile. Lights flickered, shadows moved even when I stood still, and a cold chill settled over the rooms. I started to hear whispers, just faint enough that I couldn't make out the words, but close enough to send shivers down my spine. Then came the basement. I'd avoided it initially. Something about the heavy locked door made my stomach churn. But one night, as the whispers grew louder, I found myself standing in front of it, key in hand. The air around the door was ice cold, and the metal knob felt like it had been submerged in a freezer. With a deep breath, I turned the key and stepped inside. The basement was pitch black. My flashlight barely pierced the darkness, revealing a steep staircase descending into what looked like an endless void. As I took the first step, the air grew thicker, almost suffocating. The whispers turned into low murmurs surrounding me, echoing off the unseen walls. At the bottom, I found something I wish I never had. There, in the center of the room, was a mirror. But it wasn't just any mirror. This one was ancient, its frame carved with symbols I couldn't recognize. The surface wasn't reflective like a normal mirror. Instead, it rippled like liquid, as though it were alive. As I stared into it, I saw something move. It wasn't my reflection, but a shadow, a figure standing behind me. Before I could react, the lights in the basement went out completely, plunging me into darkness. And then, it spoke.